Hey guys, today I'm going to show you 8 steps that you can use to achieve cinematic video using your iPhone and the Filmic Pro app. So let's get started. Hey guys, Ryan Camp here with Piedmont Motion Picture. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time finding the channel, this channel focuses on short films, behind the scenes footage for those films, reviews and tutorials for filmmakers. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, entertainment or learning, please consider subscribing. Earlier this week I released a video showing you how you could achieve a cinematic look for your film and video projects using just your iPhone and the Filmic Pro app. Well, today I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail and show you exactly the steps I took to get the look that I showed you guys in that last video. So here they are.
Step 1. Always remember that when going for a cinematic look, be sure to film with your phone horizontally. Next, we'll open up the Filmic Pro app and take a look at the clean and easy to use interface. Step 2 is color or picture profiles. Select the color options located in the bottom left corner indicated by the color wheels icon. Don't forget to set your white balance depending on your location and lighting, or you can balance manually to get an appropriate color cast. Select one of the newly added picture profiles located within the middle menu option. I recommend flat or log to give you the most color control when color correcting later. I personally used log for the footage you saw in the last video. These two icons indicate control points for image focus and exposure. Once you have your scene set up, you can double click them, turning the icon red, to lock them in place. Be sure not to over or underexpose your footage, too light or too dark, or you may run into data loss within your image later. Step 3 and 4 is aspect ratio and resolution. We'll select resolution from the settings menu. I use the 16:9 format, 4K, and Filmic Extreme settings for my tests. Step 5. Next we'll select a frame rate for a cinematic look. Set to 24 frames per second with playback of 24 frames per second. This is also where you can set up to do time lapses and slow motion, but we'll focus on standard playback for now. And that's it for camera settings. Don't forget that when you're finished setting up your settings to save a preset and name it. That way you can easily pull it up later without having to go through these steps again. Now we're ready to film. Don't forget that framing, motion, atmosphere, and lighting also play a very important role in making your footage look professional and cinematic. Once you have your footage shot and ready to edit, bring it into your editing program of choice. I personally use Adobe Premiere CC, so that's what I'll be showing here. Create a new sequence, making sure it matches your footage. For this case, we'll want FPS settings for the sequence to be 23.976 to accommodate our 24 frames per second footage. And the aspect ratio should be set to 16.9. I usually work in a 1080p timeline and use 4K footage downsized to fit. Using the 4K footage on the 1080p timeline gives you a bit more flexibility in how you frame your footage since it's larger, and it looks great in smaller resolutions. Now you can bring your footage into the timeline. I'll use these two shots right here. Steps 6 and 7 are color correction and color grading. We'll need to apply the Lumetri effect to our footage from the video effects menu. If you want to have the same color correction and grading applied to a large portion of your scenes so that they all match, it's best to use an adjustment layer so you can apply the effect to that layer, affecting all of your footage at once. But here, I want to add a separate grade to each individual scene. So I'll be dragging the Lumetri effect to each scene on its own. If your footage appears too dark or light, or if you want to fade it out a bit or adjust your contrast, it can all be done right here. If you want to get really professional, you can use Lumetri scopes and histograms to adjust your footage using some more scientific methods. I, however, am no colorist, and I usually kick things off by using a LUT or lookup table. These are basically presets for color that automatically adjust the levels of your footage. There are lots of LUTs built into Lumetri, and there are plenty of places online where you can buy some really great specific LUTs. These shots here are kind of dark and dreary since it was raining, so I went with some horror movie LUTs that I bought online a while back. Go to the creative option listed in the Lumetri effects panel and select the Browse pull-down menu across from Look. Here you can find the LUTs that are installed on your system, or you can manually pull one up that's located on your computer. Below the pull-down menu, you can adjust the intensity of the LUT if it appears too outrageous and you want to tone it down a bit. Just play around with these options. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just go with what feels and looks right to you. One thing that I do a lot is pull up a screen grab from a movie that matches the tone of what I'm going for, and I try to match it that way. Step 8 is just to add a couple of little touches. Since I shot these scenes by myself, I also added a little faux camera movement in post so that they weren't so static. This can also be done in the effects window for each scene by playing around with the keyframes for position and scale. We'll cover details on those in another video. You can also add a black bar overlay or letterboxing to really convey that cinematic feel. I use a 2.35 letterbox on most of my films. You can create these yourself right in Premiere using solids, in Photoshop, or you can probably find a PNG file in Google search. And there are plenty of places on the internet where you can buy aspect ratio or letterbox packs that can pull this off as well. The choice is yours. Okay, so let's recap. Number 1, shoot horizontally with your phone. 2, select a flat picture profile. 3, select the 16:9 aspect ratio. 4, set your resolution to 4K with the Filmic Extreme codec. 5, set your frame rate at 24 FPS with a playback of 24 FPS. 6, color correct your footage. 7, color grade your footage using a LUT. 8, add those extra little touches by utilizing post-production framing and motion if necessary, and add letterboxes over top of your footage. And there you have it, cinematic footage using your iPhone and the Filmic Pro app. Now get out there and create something special.
Okay guys, that about does it. I hope that inspired you and helps you out in some way. If you have any more questions, please be sure to leave me a comment below. And if you've actually worked on a video project just using your iPhone or the Filmic Pro app or just your mobile device in general, please leave a link down below to your video project so the rest of us can see what you were able to achieve using your mobile device. And again, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time on the Piedmont Motion Picture Show.